Hello to my people who are living in Madagascar. As you know, I'm the Prime Minister of this country, Masaki Shimada. Today, I am here to announce about the changes that all of the ministers have agreed on, which is to increase the economic integration of this country. We have come up with this solution in order to keep our country sustainable as possible. As you may know, our country is not doing well since we don't have any partnerships to trade with, leading to not having access to materials needed to produce goods. We thought we could make this country more sustainable due to the fact that increased economic integration can create decent work and drive economic growth, bring partnerships for the goals along the member countries, and also we believe that it can reduce inequality, which brings the topic about achieving sustainable development goals that the UN has provided. Our first main reason for creating the economic integration is the fact that it will reduce the risk of having another war. This would benefit the whole world in general. In general. It is a fact that we were the victim of the atomic bomb twice, which was dropped by the United States at the eastern side of our country. This had happened due to the fact that the whole world was in war, which was created by the misunderstanding of each other. Um, by having a strong We believe that by having a strong economic integration, such as a customs union, which is consisted of a group of countries that fulfills the requirements of a free trade area, in addition adopts a common policy towards all non-member countries, we believe that we could reduce the risk of having another war happening. In addition, free trade area is a group of countries that agree to gradually eliminate trade barriers between themselves, which is a weaker economic integration compared to customs union. In the past, there was a trade agreement made by the non-EU member countries called the CEFTA, which stands for Central European Free Trade Agreement. This trade agreement was one of the reasons that our government decided to introduce customs union to our country. CEFTA has successfully increased the awareness of the effect that gives to countries. They've also succeeded in stabilizing the financial states of the member countries from the free circulation of goods and services. Importantly, they have built up trustful connections between themselves, which increase the swap of productive methods, information, economic strategies, and ideas. From joining the custom union, which will be the EUCU, standing for European Union Custom Union, it would also benefit the domestic producers due to different factors. First of all, the geographic characteristic that our country has, which is the fact that we are a really large island. It will be easy to export our goods, to the members. This is because of the reduced trade barriers such as tariffs. Consumers will be also benefiting since imported goods will be cheaper due to this factor. Since the imported goods will be cheaper as well, as I said before, this would also positively affect the producers. They could import the resources that will be needed to produce at a cheaper price, meaning that there will be a decrease in production costs, which would eventually affect the domestic and foreign consumers to benefit because the goods will be sold at a cheaper price. Since our country suffers from the droughts during the rainy seasons, it will be helpful for us as a country to have reduced trade barriers with other members to support our country during the rainy seasons. Domestic producers can also take advantage of the comparative advantage and expand their companies into other countries. And all of these effects will eventually lead our country to create decent jobs and have economic growth in the long run, which are both part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The introduction to the custom union would also create decent jobs since the workers will be able to move around the member countries freely. With all of this being said, we have created a diagram showing the effects that will be brought to the economy of our economy due to joining the EUCU. This is the diagram that we came up with. As you can see, Madagascar. I mean. And so this diagram, this is the diagram that all the ministers have agreed upon, and it is showing specifically how the economy will grow in the long run. The aggregate demand curve will shift outwards due to the better distribution of income. The creation of stable jobs for workers being able to move around the member countries will have more income, causing the consumption expenditure to increase. The short run aggregate supply curve also shifts outwards due to the decreased prices of factor costs for domestic producers. All of these shifts causes the quantity demanded to increase, which is represented by points QE to Q2. QE to Q2. And since, as you can see, there's a slight decrease in price due to the cheaper factor costs, which is driven by the reduced trade barriers, as you can see from the points PE to P2. And I hope we are making decisions which will improve the country in the future. And we are planning on fully committing on expanding the domestic companies, which wasn't active recently. And yeah, thank you.